Yo, what's up, y'all? Look, welcome to another episode of the Love Conquers podcast, where I interview, dope couples who gonna be dropping gems on areas of their relationship that you may be struggling in. So I got a dope couple, right? Before I even introduce this powerful couple, I call it the new era dating, right? Like this couple went from I don't know they gonna tell y'all, but I gotta set it up the right way. Like they went from online dating to dating to relationship to like marriage to kids, right? A kid coming, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's why I call y'all. They weren't doing that 50 years ago.
No.
Like, and like, what y'all think about that? Because like, I was always skeptical of the online dating. So like, were you guys skeptical before? Like, you did it?
Was I skeptical? Skeptical. I was using it for fun, like just to meet people and just have fun with it, and then whatever came of it.
What about you? Was you
I was
using
doing the same thing. It wasn't like I really wasn't looking for nothing serious, but if something serious came along, then okay, that's cool.
Hey, that's how I know this is gonna be a crazy podcast, because both of y'all went into it like we just trying to see what happens, and and then y'all end up married with a baby on the way. So look, let me introduce y'all to Jamie and Lonnie, man, good long time friends of mine. I've been trying to get them on this podcast for a minute, and I got them. So let's go. I'm turned up today. So look, I asked all my couples, right? Like I think how I just started the podcast. That's what makes y'all dope, in my opinion. But I gotta ask, like, what makes y'all a dope couple?
I'm gonna say our story, honestly. Like what you said was spot on. Our story makes us dope. Just how we went from a random app, BOK app. We started talking early 2000, and I think we talked for maybe 4 or 5 months before we actually met.
Maybe.
And then from the first day we met, we just never stopped seeing each other. We never stopped talking, and here we are. Here we are. So.
Nice. Do you feel the same way, bro? Your story or something?
But I think what makes us dope is understanding each other. We had to learn that at first, like, since we basically went from talking to marriage, that we had to learn how to understand each other. And then not to just go by what other couples are doing. Like, okay, this couple doing this, so we should do that.
Okay.
Now we gotta. So a lot of people say communicating is like, oh, you gotta be able to communicate with your partner. No, it's understanding that person. Because everybody, you can communicate with your partner, but you don't understand what they're saying. Yeah. You gotta know when to listen to. Like, okay, I can't sit and go back and forth with somebody's opinion.
Okay.
Because that's gonna be their opinion. I gotta understand this who they is, this how they think.
Y'all already like that's deep, right? Like I don't even know what it takes this, because y'all gave me 2 different answers, and it's like both of them are just dope in its own right. So, we're gonna start off with ladies first. We're gonna do that. Like your story. I believe your story is dope too. And I think, 50 years ago or even less, right? 30 years ago. I don't even know if dating apps were out 20 years ago, honestly. Me personally, I don't, because, you know what I mean?
Well, they probably was out, but they probably wasn't as useful as they are now.
Okay, so let's do this. We know 30 plus years ago, dating apps weren't even really out like that.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Because we started talking about Instagram and Facebook. They only been out for like the last 15, 20?
Yeah, maybe 15, 20.
You know what I mean? So the fact that you guys met online and transitioned that all the way to not just marriage, but now a family, like that's big. You gonna tell the guests, like, you gonna tell everybody watching, like, what you having?
We don't know yet.
I tried to get it, y'all. I tried to get it. She been keeping it a secret, so I tried to get it on the Love Conquers podcast to tell us. But going back to that, y'all doing something new, and I'm gonna say rare for me, unless you know people that's doing it. But a lot of people, they are meeting online, and it's just a fun thing. How did it become for you guys? And I've been here the whole entire duration of your relationship. Like, how did it become from fun to like serious? Because I think this question will help somebody who like, man, you know what? I'm not meeting nobody in person, right? And I am online. But I don't know how to take it from fun to just trying something to seriousness. How did y'all take that like to seriousness?
You want to go first? Like,
Go ahead.
let's see.
Like, what advice would you give somebody that's starting out online?
Be open-minded, but careful at the same time. Cause you can meet somebody online, they can turn out not to be who you thought they were. Like somebody can give you a facade, like, okay, I'm this, I'm that, you know, I like this, I like that, but then it turns out it's nothing like what they said. Yeah, what they said it was. But in some rare cases, the person is who you thought they were, or who they said they were, shall I say?
And then you gotta respect that.
Then you gotta respect that, yeah.
So how do you? Okay, somebody like Lonnie, they looking at you like right now, like, yo, okay, I did meet this woman online, you know. I am feeling her conversation, but how do I be careful? I heard your wife earlier say, and I didn't know, this was my first time hearing her say this, and you, like, y'all talked for 4 months without meeting each other?
Yeah. Well, we met in April, and our first date was in
July, what, 3rd?
She actually stood me up. The first
Okay, talk about that, because somebody like...
I did not.
So, our first date, we supposed to met June 11th. It was my own birthday. And...
No, you're not going to forget that day.
I ain't going to forget the day. I think I was, like, running maybe a little bit late because I had to drop LJ off.
Okay, your son, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then as I'm on my way there, they having a protest. So I got on the phone, was like, yeah, they having this protest right here. But I got on the phone like it was a casual conversation. She thought I was, like, lying. But it was really like a protest happening. And I was really late. So I get there, and I'm like, where you at? She stopped answering the phone and everything.
Why?
She said,
let's talk about it. Why? And I say let's talk about it because it's something that happened between y'all that allowed y'all to become married and with the family, because somebody was in that same situation. They're like, man, it's online dating. It ain't nothing. You know what I mean? But something. What happened?
I think I was changing as like it was just a change in me. So I had just gotten out of a ridiculous relationship.
Yeah.
It was toxic, abusive, all type of stuff. So
Okay.
I had just gotten out of that, and then transitioning to online dating and just having fun with it. You meet so many different people on Facebook, or not even Facebook, but just the different dating apps that I was using. You meet so many different strange people.
So when he said he wasn't gonna show up, when he said he was running late,
Yeah.
you thought like,
So we had never met. We talked on the phone a few times. We were texting back and forth, and from the pictures, he looked younger than me. I thought he was much younger than me.
Okay.
And so, just when I got there on time, looked good, took my time to get ready, and he was late. And 10 minutes rolled past, 20 minutes rolled past. He on the phone just having a regular conversation. I'm just like, nope. And I'm giving him a chance. I called my friends like, hey, should I leave? And they just like, wait it out a few minutes. So I'm calling different people, getting advice. And after 30, 45 minutes, I was like, no, he either not going to show up or he think, he playing. So I'm going to move on to somebody else who's going to take me serious. So I'm like, my time is valuable.
Yeah.
I respected your time, his time, and, respect mine.
So I guess I got to ask, how did y'all reunite after that? Like, okay, you left, he showed up. What was the next step?
I still ate, by the way.
You still sat down?
He sat
down and ate, had me a drink.
Listen, guys, listen. Listen, this is going to be, they already dropping so many gems. I through all my podcasts, I stop and, just give y'all the gems if you missed it. Don't be late for your date. You might not be as lucky as Lonnie. Let's start there, right? And then if you are late, just sit down and relax and eat. Right? Like, so tell me, all seriousness, how did you get back to the point of trusting to go out with him again?
I felt bad after leaving, and I honestly felt like I had missed something. Like in my spirit, I felt like he was a good guy, and I should have took the time to get to know him, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity, so I did reach back out.
But what gave you that? It was just a feeling?
Yeah, just from our conversation on the phone.
Say that out loud. Hey, they need to hear that.
I don't know. I liked him, and like I said, I went on a few dates and I met a few people online, but he was different. And even though I had never met him in person, I knew like he was somebody worth getting to know. So me walking away, I felt kind of bad. I'm like, hey, I can't let this one slip away, so let me try again.
Yeah, look, you know, I should have had you look at the camera when you said that. I didn't know what you was about to say, but like, trust your instincts, right?
Absolutely.
Like that. Trust your instincts because it could work out. Like your feeling, your internal feeling. Let me ask you this, bro, because this is a big question. I gotta ask. Like I've been knowing you, man, for a long time now, right? Like long-term friend of mine, and you to me, right? Like I'm not afraid to say it. Like you're a handsome guy. Like you're successful, and you are a man of honor and integrity, and I say that in humbleness to honor you, right, as a king. But I say that to say, what made you like be on the phone with her for 4 months? Because I say by you being a handsome guy and you got all this stuff going on, like you didn't have to. You could have been met up with her. Like you could have been said, hey, look, either you meeting up with me or you not. Like what made you like be patient to get to wait to? Because I think you're gonna help somebody with this question. Most people are so fast to like, hey, let's do the online thing, let's get on the phone, let's meet. What made you not press that issue?
I wasn't in a rush to meet nobody, cause like I just got out of a relationship, so I just want to talk to see where your mindset at. I just don't want to talk at this point. Like okay, I'll be 30 this year, or whatever the case may be. I ain't got time to be just playing around.
Well, at that time,
yeah,
right?
at that
Okay,
time.
yeah.
So I was like, man, you know, I'm gonna actually get to know somebody before we go out, date, or do whatever after that. So if she'll be like, okay, let's meet up, then I'll let her set the date. Like, let's meet up, or let's do this, or let's go out on a date. Or if I feel I'm at a point where I'm real comfortable, and like, okay, I'm tired of talking or texting over the phone. Let's actually meet to see if you are who you say you are.
But 4 months is a while, though.
Yeah.
But I think we were both in the same headspace because me having been and just getting out of my crazy relationship and him having just gotten out of his, I think neither one of us was in a hurry to, you know, rush and meet somebody, date somebody, and, you know, and just not necessarily start over, but, you know, just get hurt or just go through that whole process right away. So,
listen, and that's so rich. All right, let's dive into that. There's so many couples out here who don't. There's so many people out here who don't understand that, and both of y'all said it, which is, "Hey, I just got out of a relationship. Hey, I just got out of a relationship, and instead of hopping right into another one, y'all actually got the time to know each other, right? And it was so cool, man. I just did a podcast with another couple, and they said it. They said something similar in a different way. They said, "Hey, fortunately, unfortunately, they were together and they were celibate, right? Until they got married, and that's rare because a lot of people are not doing that, right? And I'm not. And I said fortunately, unfortunately, because I'm not biased on either way, right? But they said it on the podcast. They said, "Hey, you know, take time to get to know the person because once you start to add in other things in the relationship, things can start to become convoluted or confusing, right? And the fact that you guys actually took the time." Both look, y'all probably thought they was in their 20s. They in their 30s, y'all. They look good. They look young. They look vibrant. Y'all could have been met up. And y'all said, no, we're going to wait. It was literally just phone calls?
Text message.
Just texting and phone calls? All right. So, okay. Talk to the people that's watching this who like, hey, I just got out of a relationship. Y'all literally went from out of a relationship to just talking, to meeting up, to dating, to marriage, to not having a kid. What would you tell that person that's like, yo, I'm out of a relationship, but I want to be involved in a relationship. But you tell them to just slow down and just like, yo, just, you know, just, or would you say, hey, just date, or what advice would you give that person?
I would say date, because when you dating, you gonna find a bunch of different people. And don't date for like a week or a month or two. Date for a while. Because you get in this relationship and now you've been with this person 10, 15 years, y'all not married. Y'all still dating. Technically, it ain't even a relationship. Y'all still dating. Before marriage, it's just dating. Y'all call it a relationship, but it's just dating. That's all it is.
So when you say date for a while, are you saying like,
On date
different people?
You can, yeah. I would say date different people. Because when you stuck on one person, you invest in that person that whole time. Instead of you dating a bunch of different personalities, and now you can say, okay, I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that.
But did you do it a different way? Because when you met her online and you started dating her, were you guys still like open to dating other people, or did you get like, yo, it's me and you?
No, I was dating other people.
Okay.
But when she said like, okay, are we together or like are we exclusive? Then I was like, yeah, okay. Everybody got cut off.
You committed.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Like, I wouldn't. That's fresh information for me. So, do you agree with the? Because basically, what I'm hearing from you is like, yo, don't rush into nothing serious after you just get out of something serious. Allow yourself time to figure out what you really want.
Yeah.
And by dating and by not meeting her for 4 months, going on a date with her, doing anything sexual with her. Like, y'all didn't even, touch each other for 4 months. It was just conversation. Like, that allowed y'all to literally get to this point. So, do you agree? Like, yo, after you get out of a relationship, and I know probably a lot of people that's watching this are probably in relationships or married.
Yeah.
But this is the relationship podcast, so we helping all type of folk, right? Would you agree to, like, yo, just take time?
I would. What I would say that's different from his response is you don't have to jump into dating right away. I would say, depending on how your relationship ended and what state you are in mentally, take some time to yourself. Get to know you again. Find yourself again. Because sometimes we get so lost in relationships. And so we kind of lose ourselves. So I would say stop and just figure out who you are. Figure out who you want to be. And then when you go into dating again, you'll have a different set of standards, boundaries.
Yeah.
And you'll know you'll know a little bit more about what you're looking for in a person and what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. So
nice. That's that. I just really kind of want people to sit on that because that's rich, right? So I would say my question would be to you guys: what made you two commit to each other? Because you came to him and said, and he, like, both of you guys played a big part in that commitment process. Like, you was like, hey, I like you. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't see each other for 4 months. Now we seeing each other. Now we dating. But like, yo, let's take this thing serious. And he was like, yo, everybody else is in my way. Y'all out of my way. So both of you guys played a big part in it, right? So like, what made y'all take each other seriously?
I would say after the first date. After the first date, you can actually tell if you like somebody or not.
For you, after the first date, you was kind of like...
Yeah.
But did she ask you to be committed after the first date? Mm-mm. Okay. But you just kind of knew when that moment was going to come. Like, you was ready for it.
Yeah.
So what happened on the first day? Like, tell us.
It was like... Because we went to Top Golf. And everything was just like, cool. It wasn't nobody trying to be extra. She offered to pay the bill.
Wow. You say that? Talk to us. Now listen, I don't want to get in that. Women supposed to do this, men supposed to do that. But you brought it up, so I got to dive in it.
She was like, I'll pay. I was like, no, I got it. I ain't going to let you pay for the first
But
date.
you say that was different for you.
Yeah, that was different for me.
Do something different on your first relationships.
Yeah.
Like, do something different on your first date.
We just had fun, laughed, and just chill. It wasn't like, what we doing after this? You want to go back to the room type thing? Like, it wasn't like that.
You didn't feel that vibe at all?
No.
What about, like, do you agree?
I agree. I think the vibe was friendship. We were looking to just be cool, get to know each other. I honestly wasn't looking to rush into nothing, and I don't think he was either. So it was just so easy going. I could be myself.
Got you.
So
did you, but he knew it after the first one, like, yo, I see when this thing gets serious, like, I can commit to her. When did you know, like, yo, I like to commit to him?
I'm going to say, I want to say after the whole weekend, because after the first date, he was asking me like, okay, so when I'm going to see you again? So he showed me something different as well right off the bat. He showed me that he was interested, that he's somebody I could be myself around and somebody that's gonna take me serious. So after the first date, he invited me for 4th of July barbecue at his house. I met a few of his family members, and it was just like, he still called me every day after that. He still wanted to see me every day after that. So it was like, okay, he really likes me. I'm being just genuinely me, and he likes that. And I don't have to put on a facade. I don't have to pretend to be nobody I'm not. I don't have to wear the weave. Especially when he told me he didn't like the weave, the nails, the makeup, stuff that I don't care for.
You could be you.
I could be me. And I was like, yeah.
Listen, this is so authentic, right, and genuine. I gotta say it. Like, I be looking for it on the podcast. Like, I got a segment where I say gym alert. Like, gym alert, gym alert. This is when I want people to lock in the most on this point that I'm about to give. This couple just said, they just gave you a gem. And it might be the most important gem of the podcast, which is do something different. Stop being like everybody else and just be yourself. Like, do something different. Like, from a societal norm, women don't normally offer to pay. Like, let's get that out. And it wasn't because she didn't even want him to pay. She just did something different. It was just like, yo, I got you. Like, Lonnie, he did something different. Like, he followed up. He stayed consistent. I don't know if men are being consistent enough. Like, I don't know. But you, from her story, you were.
I know most guys, they only consistent to smash.
He didn't give you that vibe that he was just consistent to hit. to smash, have sex, right? Like,
no, he didn't. Like, I don't know. I think I was just in a completely different headspace. I wasn't even
thinking about it. Yo, B.
I think the first 2 times she came over my house, we just watched movies.
Do something different. And your intention wasn't, I don't know. So let me ask it. Was that like you trying to be a player? Like, yo, I'm gonna do this, and then I know I'm gonna get that.
Nah, I mean, being a player is like easy, but that's like being a player is like kind of overrated.
Right.
It's fun for the moment, but after a while,
you said anybody can do it. It can be done.
Anybody can just talk to a bunch of females and just have a bunch of fun. That's easy.
Talk that, bro. Like talk that, talk because I talked to so many dudes, and I talked to so many couples, and through my process of becoming a family relationship and family therapist, through my process of becoming a relationship coach and in the podcast, and I'm hearing like, yo, I can talk to a bunch of dudes if I wanted to. I can talk to a bunch of women if I wanted to, and I always say like, that's easy though.
Yeah, that's easy. That's real easy.
And so your intentions in the moment was like, I'm trying to get to know her.
Yeah.
Like, what made both of you guys? Because y'all, like I said, y'all look young, right? Like, to me, y'all look young. Somebody can mistake y'all as in y'all 20s, right? Like, what was, before y'all even met each other, I'm pretty sure that y'all had a point where you guys were like, yo, I want something better than just this average dating. Like, did y'all hit a point like that? Just a wall where you was like, yo, I want more than just dating? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was in this a crazy relationship. So I had hit that point a long time ago. And so Lonnie is, when I say the complete opposite of everything I'm used to, in terms of just a guy being there for me, caring about my feelings, listening to what I have to say, just being able to, like, I can come to him with anything and he'll sit down and just listen and give me solid feedback. Whether I want to hear it or not, he gonna give me the truth. Just even around the house, I'm not used to men taking out the trash, offering to help me clean up, taking care of the lawn, like just being a man in my life. Lonnie is that, and so, I mean, he was everything I didn't know I needed when I met him. So,
wow, everything. That might be the title of the podcast. Be everything that you didn't know the person needed. Just be there. Yep. Just show up. That's what I'm hearing from you. Lonnie, were you at a point like I said, like, and I talked about you, and your wife is beautiful as well, and your wife is successful as well, but I talked about you from a man's standpoint of being all of those things, because it's easy for a man that's successful like that to be like, yo, I can whatever. And you could have a cocky mindset, right? If you really want to, like, yo, I can whatever. And it's easy for me. So did you hit a wall where you was like, yo, I wanna slow down and be like my bro, hey, I wanna slow down. What was your thing?
I've always been kind of the relationship type.
Okay.
Like I have my spurts where I just like talk to a bunch of women when I'm like single or whatever, but then I end up in a relationship sooner or later because that's all I've been around. My mama always been married, my dad always been married, so that's all I've ever known for my mom and dad to be married, not to each other, but
just married, right?
They just been married, so that's really all I've known. My parents been married my whole life, so it's like okay, I got to get married. Most people don't think like that because they see my dad been married 3 times, my mom been married 3 times, but marriage is not for me because they go through it. But I was like, okay, I don't see nothing wrong with marriage.
So for you, it's just a matter of time finding the right person.
Because like I've been engaged once. I was engaged to my son's mother, but she wanted to be, in the streets and have fun.
Gotcha. Just different thought process and opinions.
I ain't mind staying in the house. Like I stay in the house and watch the kids, and she'd go out and have fun.
Gotcha.
I like to travel though, but she like to travel too. So that we'll do the family traveling or just us getting away type thing.
Okay. Yo, what's good, y'all? Look, we gotta take a quick break, and we're gonna get right back to the podcast. I just gotta highlight our sponsor of the podcast, 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand, one of the hottest clothing brands coming out of the Chicagoland area. They cater to men, women, and children. It's fashionable all year round, and they represent what the podcast represents: family, love, and unity. So go get you some 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand right now. Go to 7loveapparel.com and type in Love Conquers 20, and you'll get 20% off because, they're a sponsor of the podcast. So let's get right back to this episode. Man, listen, y'all a dope couple. Y'all been giving out dope gems, and I don't know if I said this yet, but I want to say it on camera. Like, I appreciate y'all, for coming, in the early, when this thing blow up, listen, people going to be trying to get on the Love Conquers podcast. It's going to be a selective choice. Like, y'all come on here, a dope relationship. If you just now tuning in, start from the beginning with this podcast, right? I'm going to give you a synopsis. Started out online dating. Then met each other, didn't see each other for 4 months. Wow. Met each other, first date didn't even go great. And from there, we met again, became a friendship, and became dating, then it became marriage, and now it's building a family. And so I call that, I literally phrase that as the new era dating, because 20 years ago, like we talked about earlier, you couldn't do that. And so this is new and fresh. So I appreciate you guys for coming on and explaining your story. I know in the beginning, Lonnie, you said, what makes our relationship dope is our understanding. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. Like, what does that mean for both of you guys? Because understanding is I mean, that's like everything, right? Like with communication, understanding, patience, those type of phrases and words are everything in a marriage. And I always drop this on all my podcasts, which is, couples are getting divorced at a high rate. Fortunately or unfortunately, because some couples need to get divorced. Yeah. And then some couples, they might be getting divorced prematurely. So I want you guys to help those couples who want to work it out, but they just don't understand each other. They just been in a relationship so long or not long enough, and they just they don't get the understanding of each other. So what does understanding mean for both of you? And then how did you work through that understanding?
I would say point of view. When you understand it from somebody else's point of view, you can understand them better. Versus you just understand it from your point of view. Okay. Like if you're one of those people who think you're always right, then you're always going to be wrong. I think we had a
conversation. Say that again, because I don't want nobody to miss that. Say that again. That was it, bro.
When you think you're always right, you're going to always be wrong.
Why?
Because I think we had a conversation about, it was like something simple. And I told her, she said X, Y, Z. She was like, I didn't say that. I know me. I know I wouldn't say that. But then she turned around and said, you said this. I said, okay, well, you just saying you right and I'm wrong. Because you said, I said this, and I told you I didn't say that. But then I told you, you said X, Y, Z. You said you didn't say that. But you have to accept it. Like, okay, when you angry or you in the heat of the moment, you say things that you don't realize you say. So you got to take a step back. Like, okay, maybe I did say that. Okay, if I did say that, I apologize. You know, in that sense.
Instead of fighting back
Instead
and
of
forth.
fighting
Like,
back and
yo,
forth.
I didn't say that. You didn't say that.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't lead anywhere.
And it's just us going back and forth. Like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. It's just, all right, we're going to cut it out. If I did say that, I apologize. I don't remember saying that. But, you know, I was angry. I could have said X, Y, Z.
That's taking away what you said of when you always right, you really wrong. Because you can't never take the step back to say, I'm sorry.
Exactly. And if it's hurting somebody else's feelings, even though you feel like you right, you wrong.
Because they hurt.
They hurt. In that sense, you wrong because you hurt that person's feelings.
Can I do a double gem alert? That was it, man. Like, wow. Okay. So, I want to give your wife a chance to speak because I got a lot to ask off of that. What does understanding mean to you? Like, you know, how did you guys get understanding?
I mean, I'm gonna agree with what he said.
Yeah.
That's something I actually came into a relationship having to learn with him. But I guess I have a mindset of everybody's entitled to their feelings and their emotions. So I don't feel like you're wrong when you're expressing yourself, even though, like you said, it's harder to listen when you're upset. It's harder to just comprehend. There you go. Comprehend.
Yeah.
Because you want to be right and you want to make sure that they understand where you're coming from, but at the same time you have to stop and just listen. Like, just listen and just to understand both sides of it and realize. That's what I had to do. I had to just realize, okay, I'm not always right. Yes, I'm entitled to my feelings and I'm gonna feel how I feel, but let me stop, take a breather, and just see what maybe we can not redirect the conversation, but fix the conversation in the sense to where we both come to an understanding and an agreement. So
No, that's so good. So, taking the time to understand the person, meaning take the time to know that, like, yo, if you always right, you're really wrong, right? And your wife, like, she reiterated, taking the time to just learn each other. So, like, I have to ask this: how did both of you understand this concept of understanding? Was it just through conversations, or did you read a book? How did you get what I'm asking? Like, how did y'all come to this? Because this could have been a blind spot for you, and unfortunately, it's a blind spot for a lot of relationships where they have to go get help to, like, go to a therapist or go to a relationship coach or go to somebody to show them, like, hey, the reason why you're having this is because you're not taking the time to understand each other. How did you two know that, like, yo, we gotta take the time to understand each other?
We went from dating to marriage in 5 months.
Wow.
5 months.
You should have said this in the beginning.
So, we moved really quick throughout the entire relationship. And
Wait, hold on. You're not gonna do my audience like that. You will not do that. Y'all went from 4 months of not seeing each other to 5 months of dating to marriage.
Yep.
No. So we started talking in April.
Talk to me.
We made it official in August.
Okay, how many months is that? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Okay. They gotta know this.
And we got married in November.
All of this in 1 year.
Yeah.
We might have to do this whole podcast. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna invite y'all back because y'all just threw me way off. Okay, that was important for the audience to know. This couple is even doper now. Like this. Okay, so going back to the understanding, this was a fast process of understanding that the normal couple probably doesn't ever experience. Within a year, you got married after 4 months of that first year not even seeing each other, meeting online, missing out on the first date, to now married, now about to have a kid. Where did this understanding piece come in at?
Exactly. So because everything happened so fast, even now today, we're still unpacking so much stuff. So we are learning as we go, and we're adjusting as we go. And I think what we've learned to do is just be really patient with each other.
Okay.
He doesn't know it all. I don't know it all. And as much as we would like to think we know, at almost 3 years now, we know so much more about each other. There's still so much to learn. So with that being said, I think, just going through the motions of the relationship, the year, arguing, disagreeing. I don't think I can say we really fought. We've never really been in a big blowout, but like just little disagreements.
Right.
Has caused us to just take a step back and just listen to each other more.
But you gotta, I'm gonna challenge y'all, right? Because I gotta go there because y'all gonna help somebody. And I really want you to help somebody because I know you personally. And I know your relationship is thriving, right? Somebody on the other end is watching this on YouTube, whatever platform you're watching this on. They don't know. Like, I know y'all relationship is thriving. I'm going to challenge y'all to give me something more than that, right? And this is the challenge. When did the word pop up, though? Like, understanding. Like, both of you agreed that we needed to know. Like, how did you pinpoint understanding, though? Like, and I know you said trial and error, but there's so many people who've been in relationships and they can't pinpoint what they need help in or how their relationship is going to thrive. Like, y'all pinpointed, like, cause okay, let's slow the thing down. Somebody word might be, you said understanding, y'all agreed on that. Mm-hmm. Somebody word might be, I'm just gonna throw out something, quality time. And they not even realizing like what they missing is quality time. They working so much, they with the kids so much that somebody just need to tell them like, yo, just go on a date. And then they start dating again, and they like, oh, that's what we needed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, go on a trip. Like, we gonna watch the kids for you. Mm-hmm. Then they like, oh man, that's what we needed. Like, how did you realize in this short amount of time that, wow, we have been our relationship is accelerated, and what we need to focus on is understanding. Somebody might say communication. They might say, man, our communication is off. You always overtalk me. Like you always using curse words or whatever. But you said understanding. How did that pop up? Because this is where the gym is going to help somebody at.
That was actually her. I think we was having an argument, and she was like, you gotta understand me. You gotta understand me. I'm your wife. I think she said that too. I think I won't say that's the exact words she said.
I know it was the exact words.
Yeah,
I know because you said it twice.
Yeah. She said,
you gotta understand.
I'm your wife. You gotta understand me. You gotta get to know me.
And that resonated with you.
Yeah.
What was the thing that in your spirit that like caught it though?
We still fresh. We still don't know everything about each other. Versus somebody that's probably been dating for 4 or 5 years and then get married. But I said that in the beginning. I'd rather for us to get married and learn as we go.
But I think this resonates to somebody who's been married 20 years and they get lost in, they've been with somebody for so long, and they're like, yo, I already know who that person is. But really, that person is evolving. That person has changed from the first time you met them. That's why I said it's so powerful that you guys use the word. It's so strong, the word understanding, because, okay, I've been married longer than you two, but me and my wife are still understanding each other because we're changing. Mm-hmm. Like, literally changing. Physically, mentally, spiritually.
But I heard that from I think it was like a pastor. I was watching like a short clip, and he said, everybody changes every 2 years. So every 2 years you gotta get to know that person, because y'all might seem happy, but that person might be dealing with something that you don't know about.
Internally?
Yeah.
Right, got you. I never heard that. That's I gotta look that up. That's cool. You said like, so you can know to, okay, I like that you brought that up. Me and my wife, we always do something called check-ins. And so I want to give this to you guys, and I want to give this to the audience as well. We call it check-ins, like literally. We do it quite often, but like we get corny with it and we say, look, we gotta have a check-in. Like literally, let's check in. And we sit down and just say, hey, what's going on with you? Like, how you feeling? Like, how you feeling? Like, even though we was just laughing, even though we might have just had the best amazing sex, even though we just went out to dinner, even though money in our pocket, nah, let's check in. You know, let's take the time to just say, like, even though all this great stuff is going on, or even though all this bad stuff is going on, like, where you at? And so I'm glad that you brought that up, that, you know, what that pastor said, because it's important to check in, just to see, to get that understanding.
Yeah.
That's dope. So do you guys do anything? And like I said, I'm always, you know, for the people that's watching this, right? I'm always trying to give them, you know, games to try to help their relationships, because I'm personally, like I always tell people, I personally started this podcast to try to help those who don't want to be in bad relationships, who don't want to get divorced. I don't push marriage on anybody. What I'm pushing is if you're gonna be in this relationship thing, because we know it's not easy. Like this podcast is a tool for people to, like, yo, let me go learn from somebody. I don't like to read. I don't want to go through it. I don't want to go to a therapist. So let me go learn from this couple who've been doing it for a couple of years, who like in the game though, who like married, got a family. Like, let me go learn from them. So do you guys do anything specifically that like allows you to cultivate your understanding? Or like you said, you just really learn as you go? Or is it like you sit down, you talk about it? Like, I don't know.
I can't say that we do anything specific. I think through experience, what we go through. So it might be a day where we're not understanding each other. We're not communicating like we should. And that'll force us to sit down and talk in the moment.
I'm glad you said that. So when those times do come up, because they come up for all couples, right? Nobody's perfect. Or some people believe they're perfect. But when those times do come up, do you guys remind each other, like, yo, we not understanding each other? Like what does that conversation look like? And you smirking a lot. I want to hear from you.
So I can always tell when something wrong with her.
Okay.
And I'll be like, what's wrong? Nothing.
Okay. I was just about to say, how can you understand? Because you might help. You might help. I'm about to go biased because you're a man. Mm-hmm. So you might help the men out here right now. Because sometimes I have been in a situation with my wife, right? And I'm going vulnerable right now, right? Where she said, you didn't catch it. Like, I was going through something. You didn't catch it. Mm-hmm. Or I needed you. I needed your help in that, and you didn't catch it. But you said you are able to catch it, like when something is going on with your wife. How can, like, you help me right now, or the audience watching, know what that, like, how can we catch it?
It's like real simple things. Like, she'd come, like, okay, one time she came in the house and she said something real low and then walked upstairs. Okay, something wrong. So
when the pattern is off.
Yeah, when the pattern's off.
Okay, when somebody's doing something that they normally would never do. So I'm assuming she never does that.
No.
Okay.
She come in, she want to give me kisses, hugs, and
right.
You know,
she's
all
affectionate.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, something wrong. What's wrong? Nothing. What's wrong? Nothing.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So the days when nothing is wrong and you might ask that, she will talk and express.
Yeah.
But that moment, that's how you knew, like, oh, no, something off.
So what I've learned to do is, because I used to be like how she is. I'll be like, nothing. And I may or may not come back later and be like, this was wrong. Okay. So what I've learned is to give her a little time. She might come back and tell me what's wrong. Or I just come back the next day and be like, okay, so what was wrong with you yesterday? And then she'll eventually tell me. Got it. She would have to ask me, because you'll never really know when something's wrong with me, because I really don't show it. Okay. Well, you led me into another lane then. So he just gave y'all the gem on that, right? Like, so you said, hey, when you start seeing the pattern is off with a person, when you start seeing like their normal daily actions is kind of like not the same, you know something's wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. That's great advice. So Jamie, how do you tap into somebody who doesn't normally share their feelings?
It's harder, for sure.
For sure, I imagine.
I've learned to try not to assume with him, because
Wow, talking.
Because he's quieter.
Okay.
So it makes me uncomfortable when he's too quiet. So like when he's just to himself, he don't want to. I won't say he doesn't want to talk, but we don't say anything to each other.
No. I'm you. He's my wife. So like you about to unlock Pandora's box. So, you about to go in.
It like when he's just too quiet, and it makes me feel like maybe I need to start a conversation.
Yeah,
and then when I try to, it goes nowhere. So it's like, okay, what's wrong? What's going on? What you thinking? And he'd be like, nothing. I'm fine. And I'm like, that makes me uncomfortable because it's like.
Because sometimes he really is fine, right?
Yeah,
like,
sometimes he's just not. He's in his zone, like he don't want to talk or he don't want to be bothered, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm used to us talking and interacting and playing, and so when things switch up, I'm like, I don't know if I'm wrong or if he just don't want to be bothered. Like, what is it? And
but you did drop a gem in there, and I'm gonna come back to you, Lonnie, because sometimes the people that are who they are, like the best question should be directed towards them. So she gave you guys a gem though. The gem was don't assume, because I did a lot of that. Something must be wrong, and I start assuming, did I do that? Did he do that? And then it makes your mind go crazy with thoughts. But you say, look, I just don't assume anymore, and I just talk to my husband. Like, just don't assume anymore and talk to your husband or your wife. I love that advice. So I'm gonna come back to you, Lonnie. How can a person deal with somebody I don't want to say this because, like, I feel like I know a lot of sides of you because of our friendship. But do you feel like you're more of an introverted person?
I can be.
How do you? Okay. What advice can you give that person who has to deal with a person like you? Like, you will just go in a shell and be like, yo, I'm just cool, man. Should they continue to press? Because they're like, man, he was just playful the other day.
Nah, I would say give it a little time. Not like too much time. Like if I ain't talking to you for days, okay.
Right, something obvious.
But if it's been like a couple hours or something like that, I just might want to sit down and play the game and just
chill.
Yeah, not think about life and bills and all that stuff. I just want to
just chill.
do something outside of that.
I love that because that represents what you guys were just talking about, which is the word understanding. Understanding, not to assume. Like, my husband is who he is, and I understand it. Right? Like, and then you understand that, like, yo, like, hey, like, I just want to chill, and you probably will go back and talk to your wife. Mm-hmm. But you don't feel pressured or anything, and it's just giving each other that space. That's a beautiful space to be in. I love that. Is there anything that we haven't talked about? Like I said, we talked about understanding. What does that look like? Just being patient with somebody. And tell me if I'm wrong, right? Being patient with somebody, understanding not to. It was your phrase, but I might steal it, bro. What'd you say? Understand that if you always right, you wrong.
Yeah.
That was it. And because so many people think they're right.
Everybody think they're right.
Yeah, and it's just like, yo, just be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know a better way to say it.
That's a simple thing to be about it. Because,
it's like either you want to be in a relationship and be happy, or you just want to be right and be separated.
You just want a dictatorship. That's what you want. You want your word to be the final say. So, like, I said do this, and that's what it is.
Instead of a partnership.
Yeah.
Nice. So, what would you tell those people? And I want to, and this might be your guys' final words. I don't know. So, what would you tell those people that are in that type of relationship? And I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. What I'm going to say is they want better, though, within that relationship. They're not looking for anybody else. They're looking to get better with each other, right? We on the Love Conquers podcast. We're trying to help couples and marriages thrive. Right now, they're barely surviving, right? The divorce rate speaks for itself, So, do you got any final words on the understanding? Do you got any final words on that patience and that communication of allowing somebody, to be wrong or right or whatever?
I mean, what comes to mind for me is going back to the beginning, going back to the basics. If you at a point in your relationship where you struggling to understand your partner, or you struggling to communicate and listen, or have them listen, or you listen, go back to the beginning. Go back to what drew you to each other and what started your foundation. I'm pretty sure in the beginning, y'all, you may have had better communication. You may have listened to each other because you were really in that moment of liking and loving each other and lusting. So go back to that and try to reconnect and get to know your partner all over again. And maybe that's what I think of. Maybe that'll help you to listen and communicate and understand a little bit better. So
No, that's big. Like, and that really takes me, and I want to give Lonnie a chance to speak, but I definitely want to comment on that. Like, that takes me into the next segment, of the podcast, which is, our unity created. This is why I created this game called Our Unity Created, because literally that reason, which is taking the time to, like, people can get so lost into the relationship and they forget that, we building this thing together. They get so caught into, like, the garbage, and it's like, let's work through that. Like, that's why I'm in a relationship with you. Like, let's figure this thing out together.
Yeah.
So, you got any last words for the people before we play the last final game?
I think what helps is surrounding yourself with positive people. Like, for the most part, all my friends are married. So I might not tell them exactly what's going on, what the problems are, but I'll ask them, like, okay, how you handle this situation?
Nice.
Like, okay, my friend Steve been married 8 years. His brother been married 9 years. His other, all of my friends. And my other friend, he was in a relationship for 10 years. So, he's been through been married.
Yeah, over like 3 years now. I've been with my wife 18 since 18, yeah.
So, if it's a problem, I can ask people certain questions without telling them my business. And they'll be like, I had to do this.
Got you.
And I learned from my past relationships. Like, okay, I just can't be this, and that. I had to go back and replay, like, okay, am I a repeat offender? Like, is this something I keep doing?
Wow. Learning from your mistakes. You said repeat offender. Wow, that's deep, y'all. Listen, this is a dope couple. They've been dropping gems throughout the entire podcast. We about to play our last final game. Y'all know what it is. Like, what did our unity create? So, this really goes back to what you said, Jamie. And I want y'all to take this seriously, right? Like, because I feel like this is a gift that I want to give you. Me and my wife, it started out of me and my wife just playing around through a text. Like, she sent the question, I sent the question, and we just kept going. And it just made our heart just get filled up. So I want y'all to face each other. And then I want you to start by saying, so the phrase is, our unity created this. And I'm going to give you some examples, right? Our unity created love. Our unity created peace. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that somebody can see. Like, somebody can't see all peace necessarily, but it could be. Our unity created our house. So you're going to go back and forth. Normally how I do it is whoever loses, whoever stopped coming up with answers, they have to do something special for the other person. And I check in with them and see what they did, right? So I'm going to let Lonnie start off. Our unity created
a business.
You got to say the whole phrase, our unity.
Oh, our unity created a business.
Our unity created peace.
Our unity created understanding.
Our unity created a family.
Our unity created clarity.
Our unity created friendship.
Our unity created stability.
Our unity created happiness.
Our unity created no doubt.
Our unity created travel partners.
Our unity created admittance.
Our unity created comfort.
Our unity created relaxation.
You know what? Both listen. This is the Love Conquers podcast, and that's what it's all about. They went the longest out of any couple, and they probably could have kept going. I gotta shut them off because I just want them to know that their unity just inspired me. Like, that is why the Love Conquers podcast is created. So anytime you get in a rut with your spouse, anytime you get in a place of not understanding with your spouse, try that. See how it feels. Go back to what she said, the basics. Go back to the beginning and say, hey, what did our unity create to even get to this standpoint? This is the Love Conquers podcast, man. They told you to have understanding, and they gave you ways to figure out that understanding. They even told you in the beginning how the relationship started, so you can understand that it doesn't really matter how it starts. It's how it's ending and how it's going. And your relationship might look different than theirs, but it's possible, right? They started out from dating online to dating to marriage to now a family. This is what the Love Conquers podcast is all about. And I want to appreciate my friends for joining. Tune in to the next episode. I mean, this is epic, right? And subscribe to the podcast. That's the only way the podcast is going to keep going, right? You subscribe to it, and we're going to keep coming back with dope couples like this. So have a blessed day.